school might not exactly say like undocumented students can't come to UCs, but they're putting all these barriers.
Hi, my name is Diana. So my favorite season is winter because I don't know, I like it when it's cold. And the country I want to go to is Mexico.
For me, like even just applying was like super complicated because there was like the whole SIR thing and the non-resident exemption, which they made it like super confusing with like only 2 questions and the second one being like I am not a non-ret alien or something like that. Like they just made it so confusing. And when I asked help like within my high school, they would be like, honestly, I don't know, I feel like we need to get a lawyer to like help us. We come to this UC kind of expected to know what we're gonna do, but at the same time it's like you don't realize where we're coming from. You don't realize that back in high school like we weren't really educated about what our options were. It's just if you really want to succeed, you'll make it to a UC.
As the California Dream Loan Program is being implemented, with very few details, with very little clarity of the program, we're having more and more students coming in with more questions than answers, especially with financial aid, giving us the information as to what are the logistics behind the program, what are the interest rates, when do you have to pay it back. All those little details, and on top of that, having to see the conversation that's happening within Washington about DACA, and when the new president comes on board, what's going to happen to DACA? How are students going to be held to the expectation of having to pay back a loan when we're still waiting to see are we going to be able to continue on having a work permit when it's something that can be easily taken away? And not just that, but for those students who don't qualify for DACA as we know it now, and if DACA 2 or DAPA don't pass, how is that going to continue impacting the students and their families to pay back these loans?
You stop DACA today. Honestly, I've had a couple friends who've told me already next year, if the loans do go in, they're gonna go back to their community college and just finish there. I know one of my friends is already dropping out from this next quarter and she's just not going to continue. Not only because like tuition is so high, but at the same time it's like if DACA isn't here next year, like how am I even going to get a job after college?
Students are in the right to feel frustrated because they're seeing the immigration bill, how it's being discussed, how they're being talked about. And even within the UC system, I feel like educators need to be brave enough to say, okay, this is really unfair. What can I do to ensure that more and more students who are undocumented have access to these resources so they can, be, productive members of our society, and, for them to also just reach their goal or, whatever it is that they want to do, rather than us having this, unrealistic expectation that they're going to be able to navigate the system during college and after college, just like any other documented student. And that's not the reality, because our lives depend on bills. Our lives depend on all these different policies that we have very little control over just because we can't vote. We have our voice, we have our courage. Students can rally, but there's only so much we can do without allies, without people who have the right to vote and who have the right to hold the representatives accountable for all of these different policies.